I don't know. Recording. And I'm going to go live in the Facebook group. I will tell you when we're live.
Perfect.
Okay. Almost. There we are. We're live. Okay, we're live on Facebook and we're live on Zoom. Anyone who's tuning in and would like to be live with us on Zoom, the link to the Zoom room is in the guide section on Facebook. You can just go in there. There's no password or anything. Come on in. You are invited. Otherwise, enjoy the replay and enjoy my dear friend, Celeste. Welcome, Celeste. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you're up to?
Okay. I'm up to a whole bunch of stuff and it's fabulous. And I'm just so excited to be here. I'm really pumped to be here. I'm really pumped for you guys that are on live, and I'm really pumped for any of you guys getting the replay because I am invested in the next 45 minutes with you, and I am so pumped to share this. So, yeah, I guess I wrote a book. And that book had been sitting with me for probably the last 15 years and just never got out of my mind. And I'm sure many people can relate to that. Mine happens to be a romance. And I love reading romance. Love it, love it, love it. And so over the years, I would read romances. And what I realized is that my story hadn't been told. I hadn't read mine yet. And I thought, well, then maybe I need to get it out there. So that's what I did. I slowly over time wrote my story of how I found my husband. And I originally wrote it as fiction. And I also love dual point of view. I don't know about anybody other romance readers out there, but for anyone else out there that loves romance, I love dual point of view because I love hearing the man's perspective. And so I wrote the book. As you can see, I am currently in Costa Rica. Me and my family left Canada 2 years ago. And we are now been traveling around Mexico and Costa Rica. And that gave me the time to actually sit down and write the book. And when I talked to Sabrina, I'd wrote the book as fiction. And she said, no, this is your story. This is your story, and it will be shared as a memoir. And it's been a ride, and I am so excited I'm going to read you guys the first chapter. So I wrote it as a romance, but it is basically almost verbatim how it all went down. And it entails a year of basically 2009, 2010, when I lived in Vancouver. So today, though, I'm going to read chapter 1, and then I have an awesome activation. Because with writing this book and how much it has inspired me, is I want to bring love back. We talk so much in this world about what is not going right, about how I can't find somebody, about how this isn't working, how I got my heart broken. And I'm not saying that those things don't happen. A lot of times those happen to break us open to be able to receive all the beauty that we get to come in. But sometimes love, it's like, we're like, well, that's boring. It's not click. You know, it's not easy. We a lot of times as humans, we're looking for the drama. But love is a well. It's alive and well in this world. And I think our world needs to be reminded how much love is out there and how much it surrounds us and how much it's within us. And so I've got a really awesome activation coming. Sorry, excuse my dogs. A really awesome activation coming to bring everybody in, to remind them of love, and then also about falling in love with your life. Yeah. So how about we start with chapter 1? I'm seriously so pumped to read this. And then we will continue on with the activation. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Chapter 1, December 2008. Celeste, my chapter. We pull through the ferry gate and into our designated lane. As soon as I turn off my car, Mike jumps out, but I stay buckled in, lost in thought with memories flooding back. That seems to be happening a lot lately. I was born on the island, but moved to the interior when I was young, and we settled in the Okanagan Valley. It was a beautiful place to live and grow up. Rolling, dry, sage-colored hills and hot sunshine that frame the edges of the valleys, lined with vineyards, orchards, and glistening lakes everywhere you look. Seasons that smell of slow ripening peaches, cherries, and apples. Our neighborhood was at the end of a magical lake, deep blue in the middle that turned the most vibrant shade of turquoise at the edges. Still takes my breath away. I was new to the area when I started high school, yet it only took a few weeks to feel like I belonged. I quickly found a strong core group of people who accepted me immediately, and from then on, it was about having fun and making memories. Most weekends were spent walking around our area, spending time on our friends' boats, and making plans for that night. Who was hosting the party? Or would it be a huge bonfire out on one of the logging roads? Even before we got our driver's licenses, we all felt independent. Most of our parents didn't really care where we were as long as we were with friends, because our town was small and felt safe. It was quite rural, ripe with farming and fruit stands aplenty, showcasing the riches that came from the lush landscape. We all felt fortunate because we were all able to experience the beautiful Okanagan Valley had to offer. We had 5 years together, building ourselves up and cheering each other on. No one had to be part of a particular club to be friends. The jocks, the brains, the drama kids, the preppy crowd, the smokers, all mingled. And my friendship group was made of all of them. Labels didn't keep us apart. Once we all started turning 16, everyone had access to a car. Never anything fancy, but a set of wheels was all we cared about. We didn't have our phones back then, so school was where we made plans, including who would be the designated driver. I have some incredible memories with my bestie, Dallas. Her family lived on a large piece of acreage in a stunning two-story farmhouse on the outskirts of town. Her mom would usually drive us wherever we wanted to go in those early years, but on the nights we knew we wanted to drink, we would sneak whatever we could get our hands on, pour it into an old shampoo bottle, and we would walk it down the driveway in the daytime. 10 fence posts down and 10 steps into the hayfield. Then, when our friends came to pick us up, we would grab it on the way out. I spent so many years at their house, being looked after as one of their own. We'd spend hours in Dallas's pink girly bedroom, getting ready in front of her vanity and deciding what outfit would look best. Club Monaco sweatshirt for me, white sweatshirt and white jeans was my go-to. Even though Dallas and I were each other's besties, it never impacted my friendship with other girls. I was always up for anything. Dallas was committed to her dance. And because I was always looking for a reason to leave the house, I always had plans. Those years seemed like everything was possible, probably because it was. Living where we did brought endless options. So even in the winter, we would be up the local mountain snowboarding. For my grade 11 year, I got to participate in an outdoor education program for half the year. That experience was a huge part of me growing into myself, growing my confidence into what I was capable of, and the notion that saying yes to new experiences was always the way to go. The classroom itself was outside, and we always had to ride our bikes to and from. We learned how to sleep outside if we never had supplies, how to start a fire, make a shelter, and track animals. We made baskets out of cedar roots and designed and created native beading art. But the best part were the trips we prepared and then experienced. Ocean kayaking in the Gulf Islands, hiking and sleeping in the snow-covered Cathedral Mountains, to being flown by helicopter up into the Rocky Mountains, to a remote cabin where we then did day trips, heli-skiing, and making sure we didn't create an avalanche. These people became my family just as much as my friends who were not in the program. Everything I learned about nature was nothing compared to what I learned about myself. I turned into such a tenacious, bold, happy, outspoken, smart, kind person. I felt like the world was my oyster, that anything was possible, and that I could do whatever I wanted for the rest of my life. Nothing was going to get in my way because I was at the helm, driving my own crazy bus into every opportunity and possibility that came my way. Graduation was an epic three-day finishing with the whole grade whitewater rafting. We had fundraised all years for any costs, and we did so while we almost paid for the whole thing for every student. Looking back, it was like a classic John Hughes movie, except it was real and it had been my life. So when did life start to feel so gray, with the odd splash of black and white? Where did the Technicolor go? My life now just feels so mundane, so lifeless, so settled. To be honest, I don't even remember what it feels like to live with that kind of optimism and hope anymore. How did I get here? My life in the Okanagan was so bright and promising, and I took that attitude with me when I left for Vancouver. But now I only feel the rain of the coast, not the sunshine in the mountains. I look out the window and sigh and think about driving to the island with Mike to spend it with his family for Christmas. Unlike me, Mike was born and raised his whole life in one house, so when we visited, we actually stayed in his childhood bedroom. And if I'm being honest, I was jealous of the feeling of normalcy that came with something so simple, having the same bedroom to come home to year after year, and every holiday that followed. Even though it was through proxy, instilled a feeling of safety and routine, knowing that I'd always see the same thing, same bed, same duvet, same posters. It had been just over 8 years that we had been together, and while it hadn't been an easy ride, it had been one that I'd committed to in my heart. My arrival in Vancouver had me quickly meeting Mike. I fell hard and fast. We never had an easy road, but I figured if I wanted the relationship badly enough, it would happen and be worth the wait. The promise of marriage had been thick in the air with every celebration, like the smell that swallowed all my thoughts every time it looked like an opportunity for him to get down on one knee. But it didn't happen on the family trip to Mexico. It didn't happen on my 30th birthday when all our friends and family were present, nor in those moments when it was just the two of us watching the sunset at Kitts Beach. We had lived on and off together for 5 years now. That had to mean something, right? Turning 30 had me feeling a little more secure in myself and ready to step into adulthood. But now that I was 31, my patience was becoming more strained, and I was ready for marriage and to start a family. I've always been a people pleaser. It's in my nature to put others first, especially after my parents' divorce, when I would do anything to be seen and loved. So even though Mike was always a step behind me when it came to commitment, living together and sharing our lives together had been enough for me. His family treated me like a daughter, and I thought I'd always be around, especially if I hadn't left yet. We all silently thought the same thing. Mike will grow up one of these days and commit. I was sticking it out and waiting for him to mature, putting his needs before my own. I supported him when he wanted to try some career changes and was his biggest fan while he made documentaries. I mothered him through his recent health crisis, ensuring he got whatever he needed. I commiserated with him as he complained about how unjust it was that he had to change his diet. And I did whatever I could to make the transition as painless as possible. I remember one Friday when he said he wasn't coming home after work, and my mind wouldn't shut off. Is he with someone else? Is he at the casino? Going to the casino had started becoming a regular occurrence for him. I remember texting him and asking him where he was, and after a few hours, he acknowledged he was at the casino and might be in trouble. Being the rescuer that I am, I got in my car to go find him. I eventually found him at a table in the middle of a blackjack and begged him to leave. Mike, how much money have you lost? I whispered in his ear. None of your business. I'm just about to make it all back, he snarled. No, you're not. You're drunk. You're not playing well, I said. I now understood blackjack from playing with him, thinking he was involving me in his interests. Dumb girl. Fine. Let me play 3 more hands, and if I don't get some back, we can leave. I watched him lose the next 3 hands and pulled him to stand. I guided him out of the room and past the slot machines. He tried to sit down at a few, and I kept herding him towards the exit. We finally got to the car, and he erupted. Why did you bother coming, Celeste? I was on a winning streak, and you made me start losing. I tried to remain calm. I did not make you lose. You were doing that all on your own. Bullshit! You never want me to succeed. I stopped you from losing any more money. How much was it tonight? None of your business. Can you give me your half of the rent tonight? Because it's due in 2 days. That's exactly what I was trying to make money for. So what are you telling me is that I don't have enough for your share? I'll get it back. I always do. When will this end? You're constantly chasing a win that never comes. I felt so stressed and so tired of having these conversations. He slammed his fist against the car door in response. We both went quiet, and I continued to drive us back to our apartment. Ever since we moved in together, things had only seemed to deteriorate. I felt like I did was take care of him and try and make him happy. I know when you add it up, it really does sound bad, but when it slowly happens over years and you have daddy issues, well, sometimes this turns into your new normal. Head down, you convince yourself that you love him and his family, and it's too late to start over. I'd chosen him. And any issues we had, we would work them out as soon as he proposed, and I could feel secure. I opened the window a crack and smelled the salty air. The sun was peeking out through the clouds, and there was a mist rising in the air from the latest downpouring of rain. I felt the sudden urge to get my thoughts out and reached into the back seat to get my journal out of my backpack. I had no idea why I had it with me. I was forever the girl who loved to buy journals, but only ever wrote in the first couple of pages, after which it joined the rest of the beautiful rainbow pile of empty pages. Not sure what was different today. I was feeling a shift inside, like a yearning for change. So I opened the first page of the journal and wondered what to write about. Our relationship had been heavy on my mind lately, like we were at a turning point. And then thought occurred about a recent magazine article that I had read at the lunch table at work. Make a list of everything you want in a partner. Why not write all the reasons why Mike is my true love? So pen to paper, I started writing what mattered most to me in a partner. It actually didn't take much thinking, and my pen sailed over the paper, easily recording everything that kept coming to mind. Must have a great smile. Must have good teeth. Weird, but okay. Kind, patient, loving. Must want a family. Respects women and men as equals. Loves dogs. Hard worker. Tall, confident, respectful, happy. Can provide for his family. Feels lucky to have me. That would feel nice. And wants to try new things. I looked at the list. I reread it twice, and it really started to think about what I had just written. It wasn't anything profound, but everything I wrote was true to my heart. I didn't include anything outlandish like must be good in bed or rich, just characteristics of a decent human being. Mike jumped back in the car with an order of fries and Gatorade for himself. I looked over to him and then at my list. Something as simple as a little list suddenly made everything clear. My heart plummeted to my feet. To my horror, Mike only fit 2. This realizing hit me like a ton of bricks. But as unsettling as the conclusion was, I didn't feel panic arise. On the contrary, I felt like for the first time in a long time, the fog had lifted and I could see again. My mind became clear, like I suddenly had 20/20 vision. I was transported back to Okanagan Lake. When you're so close to the shore and you can see every detail of the rocks below, every line, contour, and every vibrant color through the crystal clear water, that's how clear my mind felt. Soon that clarity was getting stockpiled with questions. How is it possible that he's none of these things? Did I make up who I thought he was? He's supposed to be my forever. Have I been living in a fantasy? If these are what I value in a partner, how can I be so committed to someone who holds none of these characteristics? It was in this exact moment that I knew Mike and I were not to be, and that I deserved more. The promise of being with him forever had been a fantasy. My calm clarity was now twisting my stomach. I started breathing funny, trying to regulate my new awareness. Mike looked over to me. What's going on with you? Focus. Our line is moving. He shook his head and stuffed a fry in his mouth. I started the car and joined the ferry lineup. Crap. This isn't who I'm supposed to be with. The clarity was nauseating, and we were on our way to his home to spend Christmas with his whole family. Don't I need Mike? I was petrified because I had also never had this kind of mental clarity. For the first time in nearly 9 years, I knew he and I were never going to happen. He was never going to be the man I wanted. And for the first time, I was thankful for how little attention he paid me. Lost in his own head, he was not even looking over in my direction because if he did, he would have known I was not okay, confirming again that his thoughts were usually only pointed at himself. Sometimes it only takes a moment for your whole life to change, and that had just happened to me. Breathe. You will figure it out. Now go and put a smile on like you always do, and enjoy Christmas. Now that, my friends, is chapter 1. It's still in the process of being created. We don't have it printed yet. So I was just reading that from my laptop, but it's been quite a surreal and healing process to write so much of it. It's been beautiful. I've named the book The Love List, Fast Track to Forever, because it was only a year later that my husband, actually less than a year later, that he walked into my life and became everything that I didn't know I needed and wanted. And we've now been together 15 years and more in love than we've ever been. And it's can be pretty special. And so I am here. This is a true story about writing a list, choosing yourself, and calling in love that changed everything. If everyone has a pen and paper, that would be great. If you don't already have one, go get one. I have two options for those that I'm going to talk about bringing love back. And one sec, I'm also going to get my... Okay, building the frequency of love, two options. Sabrina, do you want to go to page 4, to the 4th slide? So you guys, this
Can
is
you
going
see
to
the
be...
slides?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this one?
Yes, thank you. So, because some of you guys have already found the love of your life. Some of you are deeply in love. And so, however, I want the frequency of love to grow in this world and to become larger than what it's been. We all need love right now. And so the first activity is going to be those already in love. So Sabrina, this includes you. I know you have your soulmate. And I want you to write down 10 things that you are extremely grateful for in your partner. And this can be anything, small, large, everyday, big things, doesn't matter. Let's take the time. So many times we have Valentine's or Christmas, and it's like a couple times that we tell these people how much we love them. But it's really in the everyday that relationships bond and grow even larger if we're really present to tell them how grateful we are. And so if you're not in a relationship, the next part will be for you. But you can also, if you wanted, you can do this about a child, a pet, a family member, a friend. I encourage you to take pen to paper and just write anything that comes to mind. Because what you're going to do is you're also going to share it with that person later today. Trust me, no one hears it enough. A big one for me has been also even telling my significant other how proud I am of them. And it's a really powerful emotion. So that's one. Now, next slide is for those that are looking to call in love. Wherever you are in your life. Now you're going to write a list of who you're looking for in a partner. And I'm telling you, I read you my list. It can be the weirdest, like this is a list for you. This is not for anybody else. What do you like aesthetically in somebody? What do you like in their personality? What do you like? Do you want a man that has so much money that you could be a stay-at-home mom or pursue all your passions and not have to think about going to a traditional job? Like, this can be, let yourself dream him or her up, whatever it is. Like, this really can be, this is for you. And it doesn't have to be what you think you should want. Let this be personal to you. So I'm going to give you a little bit of time to write down all the things you are looking for in a partner. At the same time, I will also say that the slides are off the screen and I'm in your email. Sabrina, because you're screen sharing. Just in case you wanted to know. Okay. So we have for everybody that's already in love, you're going to write your list of how grateful you are and all the reasons of why you're so grateful, and you're going to share them today. And then for the people looking to call in their love, add good. Must be good in bed. Chemistry is important. Chemistry is important. You'll probably want to be attracted to this individual. So write them all. Behaviors, lifestyle, emotion, anything. Write it all down. And yes, we're back. We are back. Okay. Now we're going to do another activation. So, you can go to the next slide if anybody wants a reminder of what was on my list. That was my list. And as you can see, it is very average. And I can also tell you that when I met Dave, he was not even scared by this list. Somehow I mentioned it. And even within the first couple of dates, he was like, I need to get my hand on that list. Like, what's on there? Because I need to find out if I'm that guy. It was like, there was no shame around it. It was like, he honestly walked in and he was all these things and more. Things I didn't even know I needed, which was pretty cool. Okay. If you want to go to the next slide, Sabrina. So with calling in love is a lot of times also though, what are we looking for in life? Like, what would it look like to fall in love with your life? And so if anyone out there is like, I'm okay with life, but I've always wanted this, or I want everybody right now to close your eyes. And what is something that you want in life? And whatever hits first is it. Whatever comes to you first, allow that to land and write it down. And then I'm also going to have you think of something that maybe even right now that you already do, that you already love. And I want you to dare to think about what would it look like if you got to do that all the time. The thing you love, what if you could just do it all the time? Because that is about creation from your heart. That is you living your authentic life. That is living a life that is true to your purpose. And when you get to do that, it inspires those around you. It permeates a frequency that is love. And this earth needs it more than ever. And it needs all of us doing what we can to get in the frequency of who we are, which truly is actually just love. So the thing about visualizing what we want to come in is there's lots of nuances along the way. And you've heard from a lot of other authors today as well. There are things that we do that get rid of possible blocks or us to be able to see what it is that we need to see. And so there's work involved to be getting that. But I am living proof that you really can live the life you want. Whatever it is you want, you can live it. Right now, I am in a place that I had only dreamed about. And I now get to live every day filling my own cup with nature, with nutrition, with presence, with creating. And it took time for me to accept that. So it's the receiving of that and to accept that as an actual possibility because we've been programmed for so long to believe it's not possible. But the first step is figuring out exactly what it is you even do want. Because if you don't even know what it is you want, the things that need to come into your path to help you get there won't be able to arrive. The universe can't deliver you either the clarity, the people, the situation, whatever you're going to even do. How are you even going to know if you don't even know what you're working towards? And so, hi, buddy. It's a beautiful bright green spider that's decided to join us. So this is the first step, is getting the clarity. And then it's really getting emotionally involved in the idea and getting it really clear, and watch what comes through in your life that would support even that. So just your guys' homework is to take some time to get really clear on what it is you actually want. And if there's already something that you already love doing in your life, then it's allowing the possibility that it could even be what you do every day. Just living within the gifts of who you are. Because that's the only thing this whole world wants. It's just you, just as you are. And you don't have to be anything special because you already are. So Sabrina, you can go to the next slide if you want. So yes, so I told you your homework. I would love to connect with you. I am going to be doing a very large movement in the next couple months. I'm bringing love back. I'm bringing it mainstream. I am going to be sharing people's stories, the ones that have the really fun meet cutes of how they connected, to the relationships that are still in love more than ever years down the road. It's time that we all started to believe in actually how much love actually exists in this world, and be reminded that it's not sometimes what we see through the television right now, but there is so much goodness around us and in our lives. And to inspire so everyone knows that what really is possible. So if you want, I would absolutely love for you to even share your love list. I'm looking for the hashtag #mylovelist. And I've just started the Love List book Instagram account. Tag me there or tag me personally. I would love to share it and be a part of something that I'm about to blow up, because it's going to get big. And it's really exciting. And also, if you know of anybody, including yourself or somebody that you know that would be willing to be interviewed by me and my husband does not like being on camera, but he is also part of this story. And they won't be long, but I just want to tune in, and I plan on sharing them on social media and on a YouTube channel where people can go to hear about people's love stories. And so if you know anybody, please DM me, and I will be in touch. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for anybody on the replay. I really appreciate your time.
I just want to jump in, Celeste, if you're done with that, and just say thank
I
you.
am.
Thank you for sharing that. And I am so excited, you know, when you came to me with this fiction manuscript of yours, and we made, it's funny when I hear other people talk about me from the other side, it makes it sound like, you know, I'm this crazy person or something that's like, no, you're not allowed to do that. But when we collectively decided that it was a process to decide that we were going to make this a nonfiction book, because I think it takes a level of courage to disrupt the norms. And that's what we're doing with this. It's a completely new genre of book. It's part memoir, part romance that sounds like fiction and reads like fiction, and part almost personal development, like self-help book in the manifestation space. So it's this sort of trifecta of something that doesn't exist. So I am excited for this book because we've all read the romance books and they're great. And we've all read the love stories and, you know, seen them in Hollywood films and, you know, adaptations of original love stories that have been made into movies. And, you know, I'm sure this will be made into a movie as well, because it is a beautiful story. But I love the aspect of it being just something completely new and a completely new genre, and you're and disrupting the norms of what's available out there. And, you know, as you were speaking, I was thinking like, I would actually love for you to interview me, because my love story is unique. You know, I met my husband after knowing him sort of like through other friends for over a decade. And then we met online as aliases that we didn't know who the other person was. And anyway,
I
it's
love
a
it.
fun story, but I would love to see this explode. I would love
Good.
to hear so many different types of love stories, because it's true. You know, we live in a world now where you can meet people very easily. That didn't always exist, right? So I can't wait for this to happen. So please do reach out to Celeste if you have a unique love story or a beautiful love story or a powerful love story or anything, because this will be a movement, as she said. So Celeste,
Yeah.
thank you again for being so courageous to take this jump, and for putting your story out there and being vulnerable and everything in between. So I can't wait.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
November 11th,
You got it.
11/11.
You got it. Let's bring love back.
Let's bring love back. All right. Well, thank you for being here, and
Thank you.
we'll see you soon. And I'll be back
Okay.
in 20 minutes with Miss Natalie. Bye, everyone.